Dina here, and I am going to be joined here with Sarah, and we are live. There we go. Add to stream. Dang, this is so cool. What's up, Sarah?
Hey, there we go.
This is so cool. We're live on YouTube and Twitch. I've always been a gamer, actually. So Twitch is like a gaming platform where you actually can stream on there the video games that you would play and things like that. But what's cool is they have like just chatting and people that like walk around doing their own lives and stuff like that. So I thought it was cool to go live on there too. And then we all know YouTube for sure. So appreciate you for coming out, for setting this up. And getting me out of my comfort zone. So,
Well, for sure. It's like, if we push each other to try new things, right? Sometimes we don't push ourselves. So you need other people in your, in your corner to.
100%. I love it. And where are you tuning in from?
So I am just outside of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. Let's go. I love Canada. I've been to Whistler once.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful there. Yeah.
I'm a snowboarder. So, yeah. So I think it'd be cool if we kind of tell our stories, where we were before, maybe what we did before, and what kind of got us introduced into this profession. We're both in network marketing. I think it's incredible. And yeah, you want to take it away?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I love talking about this industry and this profession. And I know a lot of people sometimes shy away from it because different people have, different thoughts on really what it's all about. So I'm excited to share my story because I actually, before I got into entrepreneurship business, like I knew nothing at all until I was kind of introduced to this industry. And I actually started back when I was 25. That's when I started my first direct sales business, and I was so clueless. So basically I was in university. This is where I was at in my life. I was in university. I was, I think, in my third year of my 4-year degree. So I have a psychology degree.
Oh, funny. Cool.
Yeah, have a degree. It's tucked away. It's there. It's not getting used, and I'll explain why it's not getting used. But basically I was in university and I was working 2 to 3 part-time jobs. Like it was insane. So I was paying for my own tuition, paying for my own books, living on my own. So paying my rent, my food, my car, my gas, all of it.
Okay.
And it was hard, like so hard. There was days I would wake up and not know what job I was going to after school. I would literally just grab all my outfits, all my uniforms, throw them in my vehicle, grab my books. I would just know what day of the week it was, what time I had to be at school for that class. And then I would figure out the rest of the day, like as the day went. I'm like, okay, got through first class. And to get to my next class. Okay, I got a break. Maybe I can squeeze in a 20-minute nap. Okay, what job am I going to? And I'd figure it out. Like there were so many days like that where I would figure it out as I went, get in my car, change in the back of my car. I remember this one day I was working as a cashier and I changed in the back of my car. Then I set my timer. I needed like a 20-minute nap because I was just exhausted. And I'm like, how am I going to make it through my shift? Then one day I was just invited to a home party. Actually, I used to be in the party plan.
Oh, okay.
Direct sales, network marketing, and I did party plan for 13 years. So I was invited to a home party. Whoa. And that's how it started. And I said, sure, I'll come hang out and shop. And, really, I was coming to just hang out because I didn't have any money to shop with. I was like broke as broke could be. So I just told my girlfriend, yeah, I'll come be a body in the room, and come to see you. Yeah. And then I learned that you could earn free products. And I was like, okay, I can just hang out with my friends, earn free products. So I started by just, doing the party thing. And then I was actually approached. They asked me if I would be open to learning about making money doing what this woman was doing. And that's the first time my brain kind of went, wait a second, these women because it was mostly women in this party plan company.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean you can make money? I was like, that just looks like a ridiculous amount of fun. So how do I do that? Right. So yeah, so they just shared the information. They showed me, here's some options. Here's what you can do. At the time, they had a free startup option where you could earn your startup, which
Oh,
I'm
cool.
forever grateful for, because back then I probably wouldn't have started a business in the position I was in if it was like, a big cost. So I love that I was able to start a business with no experience,
Mm-hmm.
without investing like hundreds, thousands, or hundreds of thousands of dollars, with that big, huge risk of like, okay, well, I'm going to go get a huge bank loan and I'm going to start, and I have nothing to back me and I don't know what I'm doing, but how many entrepreneurs have to do it or choose to do it that way because they don't know any other way, right? So anyways, so that's where I started. I shifted gears about 2.5 years ago. So I totally changed companies. I switched out a party plan. Just for me, it was a timing thing. That company was restructuring, and I had just asked myself some really hard questions.
Mm-hmm.
And the answers led me to, okay, I need to take a different path and I need to pick a lane that's going to take better care of myself. And that's why I'm now in the health and wellness segment, and I love it. I just love it. So I've been an entrepreneur now. It's been 16 years. I've been in direct sales, network marketing, MLM, blah blah blah, whatever people want to throw a title on it, right? So yeah, it's been 16 years, and here I am. And gosh, I love it more every day. Like I really do.
That's
Not
so
every day is wonderful, right? And Thomas,
yeah.
you'll know we have our hard days, but
Oh yeah.
overall, I mean, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't do it any other way.
16 years. Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's like, yeah, I hear a lot of stories like that. I'm like, dang, like, cause I think to myself, similar to yourself in the sense of I literally had no clue about this. Didn't know it existed. Didn't know what an MLM was. Didn't know I knew what direct sales, cause I've done mortgages. I worked at Wells Fargo. I worked at Chase Bank. That was my career path. I got into sales very young. A lot of people don't realize that we're always selling, whether that's your significant other, your boss, your coworker, you're selling yourself. We're technically all selling stuff, just most people aren't getting paid for it. I acquired that skill more, I think, from like the crazy childhood that I had, because I had to be these different things and all that stuff. Then it kind of developed into, I went into cell phone sales. Then I went to Wells Fargo. From Wells Fargo, I went into mortgages before the 07 crisis. Learned a lot. I learned that most people owned like real estate or a business, and they made a lot of money. So I was like, okay, cool. I can do that. I was not the best in school at all. I didn't get a degree. I actually was going to college when I was working at mortgages, and I was just like, I don't know if I could listen to this person. Like, I'm making more than them right now. And I've seen some mentors of mine say this, and I didn't think about that. As like, in school, they never taught us about entrepreneurship or sales, or that you can make more than a doctor or a lawyer. They were always like in these like compartments of like, hey, you have to be this, or this. And just that stuff just never aligned with me. I never felt comfortable in that. I always loved helping people. And I helped thousands of people before I got into this industry with their credit, with businesses, with investment banking, starting businesses, all of these things. Just had a massive passion. And really, like with credit, I just loved credit. Like, so they don't teach us that stuff in school, which I thought was crazy. They don't teach you how to save money, make money, or your credit. And I was just like, at least in America, I know it's different.
It's the same. It's
Oh,
pretty
okay.
much the same thing. Yeah, they don't teach you about like a lot of what I feel like are true important life skills.
Mhm.
Like it's just book learning, and then like you said, pick your profession, go to
Mhm.
school for that profession, go try to good luck and get a job for that profession. And
Yeah.
that's just the steps to get to being an adult if you follow that system.
Yeah, it's like the classic, sit down, shut up, don't ask questions. And if you
Yeah.
have a question, you can raise your hand. Maybe I'll call on you because sometimes they don't always call on you. But yeah, just in the line, all that, got into the mortgage industry. Obviously, it had tanked, went back to the bank, and just kind of did that for another like 5 to 7 years, and actually got completely out of mortgages and banking. I went into tech. I was just like sick of the sales side and the managers and just the whole thing because I've been doing it for like 15, 20 years at that point. And then I got into the product and I got introduced to it. My buddy actually told me about it for 4 years. Our product, I was just like, hey, this is that. I was like, that's a scam. There's no way that this is real. Like the money that you're making. He went from a broke busboy with $30,000 in debt. And it was hard for us because I was his third friend in America. And he used to make us pasta, and then I would pay for him to get in the club, and then I'd pay for all of his alcohol. So it was like, really, you want me to like trust you like now? And like, I was like, there's no way. And he was always like, dude, like now he tells the story all the time, like, dude, you were my number one person on my list. You're right, your board and your list. He's like, you were the first person. I would always like teach him credit and refinancing his car and the loans that he had and all this. Like I was just like a good, helpful friend to him. And yeah, I just said no for 4 years, watched him build it from afar. And truthfully, I just literally got the product just for my health. I had a crazy health testimony. I had something called diverticulitis for 25 to 32, got a $12,000 hospital bill, bought the product out of desperation. It radically changed my life. And then I just shared it with my family members that had issues as well with their health. Radical transformations. Just started sharing with friends and family, super, super part-time. And then I got fired from my job. And it was really interesting because this is the crazy part about this profession that really attracted me to it, is that I learned more in that year than I had ever learned in like my life ever, because all the people around me, not only were most of them were sober, but a lot of them were like reading books, and then they were giving the information for free. They were teaching us how to go viral. They were teaching us like Fraser's thing, he's like, he's teaching us all these tips and tricks. And I was just like, dude, this is like completely opposite of the mortgage industry, 100%, cell phone sales for sure, and the banking industry, 1000%. Because I would have customers that would come into the branch and other bankers would sit down with them and sell them products instead of like being like, hey, your client came in, they really wanted to get this credit card or this car loan or whatever it was, because you would get credit for selling products to people. But it was just cutthroat, like super cutthroat. Where in this, and I'm sure you've experienced it, especially in your 16 years, it's like a lot of times, like someone's like, well, no, I want to be with Sarah because she's been in here for 16 years. It's like, you're going to get the same training. We're on the same calls. We're talking to the same people, like it's totally fine. Go with the person that introduced you. And it was just really the personal development. I was just like, then I was telling my boss, like, hey, we should take this leadership. We did this like super cool. It's through Lyle Wells. He does a private, it's kind of like the red, yellow, blue test,
The personality color
yeah,
thing.
yeah, but it's about like leadership. So like it really, and then you get like 6 people to do the test and it's anonymous. And then I was like, hey, like we should do that. Like I learned a lot from that, because I had 3 of my people that I worked with at my 9 to 5 and 3 from my non 9 to 5. And I was like, really interesting to see like the difference. And I was like, oh dang, I wonder who, were my coworkers. Like, so I'm like telling all these things like, hey, maybe we should do, team trainings like this, or, all these things. And it wasn't happening. I was just like, dang, this person's been a manager for 20 years. And like, we're not growing. I'm not learning. It's nothing. So when I got that, so I got fired, Then I got really lucky. I went viral on TikTok in 2021.
Nice.
Helped 30 people in 90 days, made 40 grand. And I was just like, okay.
This is real. You're like, okay, this is real. This is
Yeah. And like before that, I was like kind of in, kind of out. And then I was applying for New York life insurance. And when I sat down and I like started writing it out, okay, if I went with New York life insurance, like what does that look like? If I went with network marketing, what does that look like? And I was like, they're identical. New York life insurance wanted me to pay for my leads, cold call people, go pull people into the office and sell them and all this stuff. I was like, okay, do I want to build a dream for someone or do I want to build my dream?
Yeah.
And so then, yeah, I went full force and I've never turned back. And I'm like loving it because it's travel anywhere, work when you want. But although I'm like crazy, I have crazy.
Well, because you kind of get an obsession when you like find your lane and you find what you love. You can't really help. Like that's why I think some people do look at network marketers and they go, okay, they're a little crazy because we truly we love it so much that we get a little obsessed, but in a good way. And like you said, like sometimes you just want to keep working because we're enjoying what we do so much and we want to truly help people, you know. And like you said, you bought the product out of desperation. So I kind of was in the same boat when a friend of mine actually, you know, came to me with the health product that I started on. She knew a lot of my health issues because we were in the same company previously together. And I don't know, I can't see, but hopefully, you're still there. Okay, you just
there. I was trying. The thing is like what I'm finding is weird is so like we're side by side.
Yeah.
But I notice when I look at myself, I'm looking at the opposite of the screen. And if I look at you, I don't think it's like, but so I'm trying to talk to the camera. So I was trying to see if there was like a mode where like I could put you on top or something. Cause I mean, I love this thing, but I'm just like learning.
Yeah, playing around to see.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was the same thing though. Like, so because I'd, you know, spent a ton of time, like 13 years traveling with this, you know, well, 10 years with this good friend of mine in the previous company we were in. She knew a lot of my kind of health issues that I hid away, you know, because a lot of times you don't talk about it. You just manage it, deal with it. So she actually called me and she was like, okay, you need to try this. And I was super skeptical because I was like, that's not really my thing. I don't take that thing, you know, it was, you know, but I said, you know what? I trust you. I trust you with my life and it's working for you. I will give it a try. But I went into it like, I'm going to try this and it's not going to do anything for me. And same thing, like 7 days. 7 days is all it was for me. Everybody's different, but for me, it was literally 7 days. I was waking up like, okay, there's no way I'm making this up. Like I just felt happier. It was the first time in close to 20 years that I was waking up happy and with energy. Like I was just like flabbergasted. So I was like, okay, this is something that's this is for real. And then that's when I, you know, decided that I needed to look into the business side of things because I was in that transition where I was figuring out how to walk away from my previous company. Yeah. So yeah, it was a tricky thing. But yeah, when you say like out of desperation, it had to be shown to me though. Like I didn't go and look for it. Like she basically like on a silver plate said, okay, Sarah, just put this in your body. Like just trust me and take this and tell me how it goes for you. So yeah, just kind of, it's interesting how sometimes you're just at the end of your rope kind of, and you're like, okay, like God, and then and then it's just like, boom. And then it turns into this amazing business for you that you can now like, you know, go and help other people that are struggling with the same problem. Like they're everywhere. Like people are struggling right now in like so many ways. Health.
Well, that's what's cool with this. Yeah. It's like, I think that's what's given me the bug, like you said, to kind of work as crazy as I do, because I just love it, because the stories are usually all the same across our profession. It's like it changes their health, changes their mental mind, like you're saying, financially, spiritually, physically, and then it starts changing like their family, and then it's like the trickle effect, and it's like, dude, like wow, like you were the change. Like, and then it's like, that's what in my family, that's how I feel now. Like at my let talks about that. What's this guy's name? Justin Prince talks about that too. Like, be the one, you know, be the one, be the change. Like Ed Milet says that, like, you are the change for your generations coming. Because like myself, a lot of people in my family weren't into health. There was a very few that made good money. Most of them like were not into their health. I only have one like sister that's like super into her health. And then when I got in this, she was just like, oh yeah, it makes sense. And I was like, where the heck have you been my whole life? Like, she's like teaching me yoga and Pilates and eating good food and eating greens and all this and working out. And I'm just like, holy cow, I've never done any of this. Chiropractic, you know, NSA. Like, I'm just like, yeah, now I'm addicted to the person that I've become.
Yeah. Oh, like I just want to give you like that right there. I'm with you on that. And I didn't mean to interrupt you, but like that got me so excited because I'm a very I've always okay, there's always parts of you that stay the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
But my gosh, if I like looking back, well, with Fraser, you know, we're both getting mentored by the amazing Fraser Brooks, and that, you know, look back in yourself challenge. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
it's insane just in this short 2.5 years now that I've put my health first,
Mm-hmm.
even before my business. Like my business used to be first. And I'm like, now I'm learning because you and I are both in the health and wellness space. Yeah, like I'm so in love with who I'm becoming and how I feel, and just like I'm more energetic and more vibrant at 41 years old today than I was at 25 years old.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's I mean, mine, I was doing a lot of bad things. But yeah, it's like now it's crazy. And just like you said, because I have a lot of like before and afters, you see it in like your face,
Mm.
see it in even the wrinkles, you know, like and then kind of like you said, because now you're radiating and you're at a different frequency, you're just happy. Like I was always just like an angry person. I just like was brought up very different, even though I lived in a nice area and all that. And we were very blessed for the way that we were brought up financially and stuff. It was just very stressful. So that like really dictated my personal feelings. But yeah, now that's what I love, is because now you're transforming other people's lives. And that's what's super cool about this profession, especially with social media. I mean, you're in Canada, I'm here in California. It's like this is the coolest thing ever, that we can just jump on and do stuff like this and then be able to tell this message to other people. And if it resonates with you, reach out to us. You know, like I always tell people, it's open. You know, my phone number is technically all over like all my videos. So like
Yeah.
people can call me, but it's like, I know it's intimidating. And I've talked to people that I've helped through social media where they're like, dude, I didn't even think you're a real person. Like, I didn't know that. But yeah, what would be like one, or what would be like your moment where you were just like, hey, um, this is what I'm gonna do? Or like what kind of like motivates you every day to get up and keep pushing and doing this?
Yeah. So one moment that I will never forget. So it was basically when I was transitioning from doing my, you know, my first direct sales network marketing business. I was doing it part-time. So part-time for the first 2 years because I was in school and had all these other jobs. So I was just squeezing it in, right? And I came to the terms that I was like, you know what? I love this. I want to try, because I didn't know if I was able, like if I could do it full time, but I'm like, I want to make this my full-time income. So I'm going to finish my degree. I'm going to tuck it away, even as terrifying as that seemed, because I just spent technically almost 7 years because I had to take some time off to work to pay for things. So 7 years of my life in school. And then I was just going to like tuck it away because I wanted to go like all in and see if I could make a full-time income. And I remember making that decision and going to one of my jobs, and I was finally going to quit. I was serving and bartending, and I was down to 1 day a week. So I chopped all my other shifts and I was down to 1 day a week. And I sat down with my boss, the owner of the restaurant, and I basically gave my resignation. And I told her, okay, like I'm giving my 2 weeks, like I'm done. This is why I'm pursuing this business, and I want to make a go at it. And I'll never forget. And it makes, I just get like this feeling through my whole body. She said to me, I think you should reevaluate your life choices.
Yeah.
And I thought, what? And at the time I was like, okay, that's interesting advice. Like rethink my life choices, because I'm leaving the restaurant as a bartender server to try to pursue a business and see if I can do it. Well, 4 months later, I quit all my other part-time jobs.
Dang.
And I've never looked back. And there's people, and great for them if they're happy, but there's people, and that was in 2009. I left that job, and there's still people that I worked with that still work there.
Oh, dang.
Because it's 20 minutes from my house.
Oh, wow.
And we
That's
go there to
wild.
eat once in a while, and there's faces, and I'm like, wow. And like I said, if they're happy, that's great. But I know I wouldn't have been happy being there all these years later. Like I wouldn't have traveled the world. I wouldn't have some of the closest friends in my entire life are from this industry. Like I wouldn't have had all these life experiences. I wouldn't be as like smart as I am. Like I wouldn't be at the level that I'm at. My personal growth wouldn't be where it is. Like all these things. So that was the determining moment that I'll like never forget. And it almost gave me that push to like make it happen, because I was like, I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna prove to you that my choice was the right choice, and I'm not gonna rethink that. So I think that moments like that help me keep going on the hard days. And I just think, what are my alternate options? And anytime I think about going to work for somebody else, and I always just say, oh, I think
with a great face.
I barfed in my mouth a little bit, I'm like, and that's just me. I'm like, I just go, oh, no, I think I got sick a little bit thinking about going to work for somebody else, because I'm so used to being my own boss, and I'm so used to controlling my schedule. And I'm so used to, if I want to take a week vacation and go somewhere 2 weeks or 4 weeks, like I can. And if I want to work while I'm gone on my phone, I can. But if I want to put it away, I can. Like, I'll never give that up. I'll just never give that up, ever.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you say that, because that didn't hit me until Lisa Nichols was talking on stage at, I don't know if it was this last GoPro or the one before that, but she said like the person, like she told her boss that it might have been Stormy. I think it was Lisa, but they basically had said like, hey, I'm going to quit to pursue my dream. And no, they got fired. That's what it was. They got fired. And she's like, hey, I think you need to go pursue your dream. And then that lady had actually came to one of her events like years later. I think it was Lisa.
Yeah.
And then she was like crying like the whole time, like front row and all that. And it was like distracting her the whole time she was talking. And then so that hit me really hard. I was like, dang, like I had all these massive big dreams, but it always got plateaued because I was always that outspoken person. I was always like, hey, that isn't cool that you're doing that to these people. Or hey, I love my dad, but he was always like, yeah, just like go get a job and stuff. But I get why you were saying that, because I was lazy before. Network marketing, like
yeah, you can't be lazy. You have to, like, you've got to put the work in, and you have to be consistent. Like you have to be ready to like kind of throw yourself in, like, and you throw your heart in too, right? Like,
I had to learn to be authentic.
Yeah.
That's what like had happened. Like I became like authentic, then I went viral, and then all the people that were connecting was like, dude, you're authentic. I could feel it. I was like, oh dang, yeah, because I was like putting on a show, because I had to like wear a suit and tie, act a certain way. In the banking industry, you can only talk a certain way. Like you can't say certain things to clients, that like, you still shouldn't say that in this profession, but it's still
we can get away with more, because we're talking to our people, right? Like we want to find people that are like us, and that we can resonate, and we can feel each other, and we have the same vibe and the same, like, so we can get away with more, because it's like, well, if you don't like the way I talk, then maybe I'm not your people, right? And so it's kind of cool in that sense that You know, it doesn't matter where you came from. Like who they always say, like, it doesn't matter if you came from Yale or jail.
Yeah.
You can do network marketing. And that's something that Stormy, like, as you mentioned, Stormy talks about a lot, right? Is
Yeah.
just her background and where she came from and how network marketing has completely transformed her world. But yeah, that's kind of an interesting thought there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I love it. What are some things that you've loved so much in your 16 years? Like what's like 16 years is a long time.
Yeah.
Just like that one woman today, which she was 63 or 68. She's been in the profession that long. I was like, whoa, like, so what like keeps the fire going for you?
The time freedom for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a huge thing for me. I don't want somebody telling me when to work, how to work, what days to take off, that I can't have a day off for a family event, that I have to request vacation time. Like I don't function well with somebody else telling me how to live my life, because that doesn't create the happiness that I want.
Mm-hmm.
The opportunity for income, like the fact I love money. I
Mm-hmm.
want more money because I know what money can provide me and provide other people that I love. Like I want to get to the point where I can just finance my mom's life. Honestly, like my mom's right on the edge of full retirement. Like she's been a foster parent for 25 years. So
Oh
she takes
wow.
troubled teens and she does everything she can to help them. And she's down to her very last foster daughter. And I just want to be able to say, hey mom, like, you want to go on a trip? Here you go. You want
Mhm.
this? Here you go. Like I just want that for people that I love. And I just want to be able to do that without even thinking, like, not like, ooh, can I afford that? Like, it's just like, nope. Okay, here, you need $5,000 for whatever, like, not for whatever, but for like good. Yeah. For me, it's that. It's the fact that there's no cap. There's truly no income cap. If you're willing to work harder and you're willing to help more people, you will then help yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nobody telling us that you can only get to this certain level. You can only make this amount of money, or to move up, somebody above you has to retire or die. Like, that's the honest truth, right? Like,
Yeah.
in corporate America, they always say, like, oh, it's a pyramid. I'm going to bring the word up, pyramid, because I know there's people watching us thinking a pyramid, pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? It's a pyramid everywhere. But
Yeah.
in our pyramid, it's actually kind of an upside down pyramid, because you can have all the people on the top you want. If everybody wants to go to the top, we can all go to the top.
Mm-hmm.
But in corporate, it doesn't work that way. The person on the top has to literally retire or die for somebody to move up. And I just don't want to be part of that being like the controlling factor of how successful I can be or where I can land in a company. So those are the things that keep me going and keep me doing what I do and not choosing another option. I have no desire to choose another option anymore.
Yeah, that resonates a lot with me because that's
Yeah,
oh yeah, that's happened I was at a branch where
right.
literally, so there's like your like personal banker, and then it's like licensed banker, and then it's like you're a private banker. So that's like people that deal with like 500K to $1 million in deposits. That gentleman was there 20 years or something. So he's been in that position. So yeah, the only way that you could get into that position is if he left that branch.
Right.
He's not going to leave. It's like he's been doing it for 20 years. He's comfortable. He has the clients already. And there's only one of those people in each branch. And so
Yeah.
that's yeah, when I saw that, I was just like, what the heck? Plus, I've seen most people, like I was saying before, is like they make money when you have a business or, something else. So that's what's always been super appealing to me. It's just, yeah, no income cap. It could be as least amount of work that you want to do. So your paycheck will be small, or you could do a lot of work and your paycheck will be huge.
Yeah. So, like, for example, since I switched companies, I really slowed my pace down. I
Mhm.
used to be like, go, 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 morning to night, like nonstop, nonstop. It was too much. And I was on the brink of a burnout without realizing I was that close to a burnout. And I didn't clue in until the restructuring happened. And like, we kind of had to stop doing home parties and go online. And when I shifted, like I just was like, I can't even go back to the way I was ever again. I'm not going to ever let myself go back to that. So the last 2.5 years with my new company, I've been working part-time. So I'm working part-time and I'm making part-time money because I'm choosing to work part-time because I can, because I wanted to give myself that breathing space. I wanted to build it in a way that just made my like heart shine, right? Like I didn't want to just go back into the rat race, like in that feeling of like morning to night. Like I just had to slow it down and find a better balance. And I know you'll never find a real true balance. And I truly believe there's no real balance, but I just, like you just said, you can work harder, make more, work less, make less. And I've chosen to work less for the last 2.5 years to go through some personal stuff and to heal, because I had some trauma from the previous company and the experience and everything happened. We joke and some of us say we have like, party plan PTSD. Nothing wrong with party plan, but some of us had a little party plan PTSD and had to learn how to like get through our trauma on that one, because pour yourself in and something changes. But I mean, I'm happier now, so it had to happen that way, because now I've experienced the last 2.5 years of my life in a completely different way than I had been living before. And sure, am I making less money? Yeah, I'm okay with it though, because if I wasn't okay with it, then I would just ramp up my hours.
Mm-hmm.
I would just do more of what I know works, right? So, and that's because I mean we're in that course together, and that's how we met. And everybody's like all in is different.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, just like we saw, it was like 550 people started, and then now it's like 220 people are on the thing. I'm like, dude, you spent 10K for this program, and
right?
And
you're not showing up. Like,
you
what do
still
you
didn't commit? Like, we always talk about that as like people start things and they quit faster. It's like everything in life, and then you're just never gonna outperform what comes out of your mouth. There's so many people that quit. Yeah. So what question comes to your mind then?
What question?
Yeah, you got like a good question?
Like for you? I don't know.
Yeah, for our profession, like for the viewers, something that maybe you get a lot. I mean, you have a lot more experience than I do, so.
Yeah. Oh gosh, there's lots of different questions, but I mean, yeah. Oh, actually, it's funny. Okay, now it pops in my head. So the other day, I'm having a conversation with a woman. Don't really know her. We met on social. Mm-hmm. She reached out to me. Mm-hmm. I think to try to share whatever what she does, mm-hmm. And she's like, "What do you do?" So I told her I'm a health and energy mentor with a cellular nutrition company. This is what I've been doing for the last couple of years. And she goes, first question, she goes, "Oh, is it MLM?" And I said, well, yeah, you can call it like, it's called network marketing, MLM, like there's, different terms for it. I said, and then she said, oh, okay. Yeah, I thought so. And then I can't remember exact wording, but it was like a negative comment. Like, oh yeah. So basically like, I have no interest in that. And I said, oh, okay. And I just asked her, I said, curious. And I said, don't feel obligated, but I'm just curious to know if you had a bad experience.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people just say, oh, no, it's MLM or it's network marketing, I'm out. And I guess my question would be like, I would love to know I want to know what people's experiences have been. Like what has happened to them to have that feeling about it. And I think the more conversations we can have and to figure out why people feel that way and hopefully shift things more in this industry so that less of whatever that is that happened, less of that is going on, right? Because the majority of us, we don't want people to feel like cringe when they hear that, right? Like, because we're so passionate about it, it works. And that's what she said. She says, well, only like a small percentage of people ever make money in those businesses. Most people never make anything. And I said, well, there actually might be some truth to that. And I said, because it's very easy to enter in. and it's very easy to exit and quit.
Mm-hmm.
And most people enter in, don't put enough effort in, don't show up, don't stay connected, don't do the work, don't give it time. I mean, if you go open a brick and mortar business, are you going to make money your first month? Your first
years,
year?
you're losing money.
2 to 3 years, you're losing money, right? You're losing money usually for a good 3 years before you're starting to even profit a little bit. Now, are most people that are coming into MLM, direct sales, network marketing, are they truly working hard at it long enough to see the payout? And the answer is no. Most aren't, and that is why. So I said to this woman, I said, well, yeah, you're actually right. Most people that come in, they just exit right away. They're just not willing to put the work in. So yeah, they go and they say it doesn't work. Well, does the system not work, or did you not work the system?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I guess that'd be my question. Is I would just love for anyone that's watching and is had a cringe feeling during they go, oh, they said the words, just like we get it. We get it. And we get there's some crazies out there that maybe don't say the right things or do the right things, or they're like attacking you, like, throwing their product down your throat or their services or whatever. But that's not how this industry really is.
Yeah, I've seen that, because a lot of times it's like they'll buy the product and then they get stuck with it. So then that's why they get that negative.
Yeah, that too, right? Like, yeah, buying too much stock instead of don't be your best customer. I tell my team that all the time. Number one rule, you are not allowed to be your best customer. That is that's a big no-no. I don't agree with that at all. Buying and stocking up on things and trying to get rid of it later. I mean, yeah, so that would be my question, is just if you've ever had a bad experience or you get that cringe feeling, what happened? Like, I would just love to know the story behind, where that came from, or what your experiences were, because I think the more we learn about those negative experiences, the better we can, ensure that this industry just becomes a more positive, more powerful, industry, and everybody hopefully can one day look at it that way.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Yeah. Cool. Trying to think of something. You have anything else then that you want to go through? Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I could talk for hours and days about this, but that's the hard thing, is like, okay, well, we could keep going and going, but I don't know. Like, can you think of any other question? Like, mine is kind of more of a, like, share your backstory, right? Of like why you may not.
Yeah, and I haven't had that, so I can't speak to that.
You will. I'm telling you, Thomas, you will. It'll come.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard certain things, but it's most people just don't know the profession.
Yeah.
And I think that's more like, even besides all the stuff that you had brought up, it's like, as someone now that's in it, and I've seen people and I've signed people up that like come in exactly like you said, they're all gung-ho and all that, and then they just don't do the work. So it's like, it's your job. It's like your job too. So like, if you got hired and the job was like, hey, read 10 pages of the instruction manual and tell me what you think, the next day, and then you don't come and tell them that, it's like, they're going to be like, hey, Johnny, did you like, I told you to do this, here it's like, hey, I can give you the tools. I can tell you what worked for me. And I can tell you 1,000 stories of people that are making crazy money, but they did the action. They read the 10 pages and they went immediately to me and they're like, hey, I finished the 10 pages. I learned this. Like, what do I need to do next? And it's like, okay, cool. Read another 10 pages and maybe like go out and find a new person to talk to, then the following day, hey, I read those 10 pages. I found a new person. What do I do? It's like, in this, that's how it works, where other jobs are like, hey, you clock in, you do the checklist, and then you get your paycheck.
Yeah. And if you don't do the work, then you start getting written up. And then if you keep not doing the work, then they fire you.
Fired. Yeah.
So it's kind of the same thing, but if you don't do the work you're just not getting a paycheck. And then you end up kind of just firing yourself, because you're like, well, this isn't working, but and
then they give it a bad name to everybody else. And I'm just like,
yeah.
well, it's, Yeah. Yeah.
So there's people that have tried and given a good effort, and maybe it didn't work out for them for whatever reason. I'm sure there's those cases too, but I just think, yeah, for the majority of the time, people they give up too quick.
What would be one piece of advice to someone looking into the profession after being in it 16 years? What's something that you would tell someone brand new, someone watching, someone scared to reach out, someone, whatever that might be going on in their world? What's some advice that you would give them?
My advice would be to just send that message, or just say, hey, like, just, if you've been watching somebody and you're like, gosh, I wish I could do what they do, or I'm curious to know what it is about. And like you said, they're scared. You've got to figure out a way to just like say hi. Like, you don't even have to ask them a question, right? Like, if somebody wanted to just like go to my inbox and say hi, it would be weird, but I'd be like, hey, right? I'd say hey back. And then like, so if that's all you can do is just say hi to that person in their inbox, or text them, hey, what's up? Like, just do it, because I honestly could not imagine how my life would have been if I didn't say yes to going to that home party, And then one step further is they called me, and this woman said, like, she was new. She'd only been in the business 3 months. She was green.
Dang.
And she just was like, this gal is young. She's fun. She likes to talk. And she went to her mentor and she said, I met this young, spunky gal. She's in university. And I think she'd be like, she basically said, like, I think she'd be kick ass at this. So they called me out of the blue and just said, hey, would you be open to learning about what we do? And I was like, I guess. Like, I wasn't like actually interested, because I didn't understand it. Like you were saying, a lot of people, I didn't understand. So I just was like, well, it looked like fun. They're telling me I can make money. Not really sure if that's a thing, but I would just say yes, take the meetup, do the Zoom, do the coffee. Worst case, yeah, you hung out with a couple people for maybe half an hour. Like, you made a couple new friends, maybe, like they're going to buy you a coffee or a drink or a snack. So worst case, you got a free drink or an appy or something out of it, even if you decide it's not for you. So that'd be my advice. If you've ever considered doing something like what we do, and, being your own boss and learning how to run a business, even if you're super clueless, like we both, pretty clueless.
Mm-hmm. Very.
My advice is just take that deep breath, send that message. If nobody's reached out to you, or if somebody has reached out to you, go back and find that person and say, hey, and just say, hey, because they're going to go, hey, can I help you? Right. And then that'll get the conversation started, and then just go learn about it and just find out, because it can totally change your life. It really can. And I know that sounds cliche, but it's the freaking truth.
Yeah. I love it, Sarah. This was amazing. We got to do this again. That was a solid note to end it on. I appreciate you so much. We'll do this again. And everybody watching, if you have questions or anything at all, you know how to reach us both. I hope you all have an amazing day.
Well, thank you so much, Thomas. And this is super cool, because Thomas and I just met through this network marketing course that we're in. And we started chatting, and we were like, hey, let's do something new. So this is his first time using this program that we're streaming with, StreamYard. Shout out to them. And I used it for the first time like 2 weeks ago. So heck, we're always learning new things, guys. So that's what it's all about, is just keep growing, keep pushing, and just strive to kick ass and, spread love.
I love it. I hope you have an amazing day.
You too. Thanks so much.
Bye.
See you guys.